echoes of the silent future. The future can wait. The alien crafts left Earth after no rest's thunderous battle, but peace didn't last long for the band. A few days later, Justin's ancient guitar began emitting a strange, resonant hum, louder and more persistent than ever before. Curious and a little uneasy because his abilities did nothing, Nick decided to examine it. Unscrewing the back panel, he discovered something extraordinary. Not the usual wires and electronics of a guitar, but an intricate array of handwritten symbols and spells etched into the wood. These aren't electronics, Nick said, his eyes wide. They're incantations. Intrigued, Nick began to read one of the spells aloud, and as he finished, a blinding light engulfed the band and their van. When the light faded, they found themselves parked in an unfamiliar place. The air was humid, the sun was bright, and the sounds of traffic filled their ears. A highway sign nearby read, "Welcome to Jacksonville, 2019. "I'm in the past," Nick muttered, spotting a newspaper on the ground. "Let's keep our powers hidden." But how? Realizing the guitar's spells were responsible, Nick became determined to decode their meanings while the rest of the band adjusted to being back in their time. Later that day, Justin and Steve headed to a nearby convenience store to grab supplies, including a case of squirt. On the way, they passed a young man playing guitar on the sidewalk, his style of metal so innovative and captivating that they stopped in their tracks. "That's insane," Justin whispered, watching the guitarist's fingers fly across the fretboard with an intensity they'd never seen. When the guitarist finished, they approached him. "Dude," Justin said, "that was incredible. Are you in a band?" The guitarist, who introduced himself as Andy, nodded. "Yeah, we practice just down the street. You should swing by." The entire band decided to visit Andy's practice session later that evening. Inside a small garage, they were blown away by what they saw. Andy had shaved, looked somewhat different. He wasn't just a talented guitarist. He also played drums with a speed and precision that seemed almost supernatural. As they stood there in awe, Andy walked up behind them and gestured toward the drummer. "That's my brother, Matt," he said. "We're VILLISCA." Their singer was slouched in the corner, his movements sluggish but deliberate. Andy introduced him as Ryan, though his exhausted demeanor suggested he wasn't at full strength. "You okay?" Justin asked. "My lung blew up weeks ago," Ryan said. When the band started to play, No Rest was floored. The sound was raw yet refined, an entirely new approach to metal that was unlike anything they'd ever heard. Justin was so impressed that he immediately invited Andy and his band to join them for a show. At the show, Nick cautioned the group about the guitar. "Be careful," he warned. "There's a spell that triggers when someone insults it. If it gets struck after that, we could be sent through time again." The performance was electric, and the crowd roared in approval. But after the set, an older man, out of place at a metal show, approached Justin, fixating on the guitar. "How much for that old thing?" the man asked, eyeing it with curiosity. Justin shook his head. "It's not for sale." The man smirked. "Cheap thing like that isn't worth much anyway." The insult lingered in the air, but before Justin could respond, the man lunged forward, striking the guitar's body with his cane. The strings reverberated with an unnatural tone, and the spell activated. Outside the venue, No Rest and VILLISCA gathered in the alley, recounting the show's highlights when the sky above them began to shift. A swirling vortex of light and energy opened, casting the area in an eerie glow. "What's happening now?" Steve yelled, shielding his eyes. The portal expanded, its pull growing stronger, and before anyone could react, it engulfed them all. No Rest, VILLISCA, and even the old man. The world twisted and blurred as they were dragged through the rift, leaving the alley and 2019 far behind. When they landed, the air was different, heavy with a strange metallic tang. The landscape around them was unfamiliar, barren yet glowing with unnatural hues. Nick clutched his microphone, still in hand, his mind racing. "I think we just got sent somewhere, or somewhen. We've never been before," he said. Justin looked around, his grip tightening on the guitar. "Wherever we are, we're not alone." In the distance, faint lights flickered, and the faint sound of movement reached their ears. The bands, now united, prepared to face whatever strange world awaited them. The only certainty was that their music and the mysterious guitar would guide them once again.